thank you for joining us today, first of all, for this focus session on the India DPDP Act and CSCRF, and most importantly, how these things come together in real world scenarios. So, today's session is not about legal interpretation or two demonstrations. Like ransomware attack. If you have an incident today, how are you going to respond? Do you have a team who has identified who are the assets? These kind of questions. And it's not just about invoking cyber insurance and including your CFO. Do you have continuous GRC in place? Most of the times what happens is we have audit coming up, we are regulated by SEBI or various governing bodies. We do audits, and usually these audits are point in time. These are usually we do spreadsheets, screenshots, emails just before the audit, and we get the audit done, we get compliant. But eventually, what happens in this 3 months' time? That's the most important thing. The most important thing is, do we have continuous GRC, continuous monitoring in place? That's the question we ask. Now, my role at Amazon was looking after global payments, cyber risk, and privacy. And for companies like Amazon, they are highly regulated, is under pressure. And the biggest challenge was not the finding itself, not the risk itself, but finding the right owner for that risk and closing that risk in timely pressure. From the ransomware attacks, all those incidents you're seeing, it's not about malware or technology. It's usually about the data and people who own that data. If there was a breach, the data was leaked, whether that data was classified, whether that data is supposed to be public or is confidential or is restricted. Have you identified already that who is going to look after that sort of breach? Finding that ownership is very important, and closing that gap between leadership and engineering at the same time is equally important. When we're talking about CSCRF and DPDP, if the data is leaked, we talk about having cybersecurity controls and making sure the data should not be out. DLP is one thing, we talk about data loss prevention all the time. That's why there is very close harmony and sync between, and we have to see these two things together, because if that data is leaked and is plain text, then the government is going to ask questions. If you do not identify data, if you do not respond in time, that's another challenge, right? Being data fiduciary, or that's terms for some of you not aware of data fiduciary or what is significant data fiduciary. I'll talk about one of the incidents that I managed, and hopefully using this is a real incident that I managed, and some of that sits directly within CSCRF and DPDP, what we are talking. So when that ransomware attack happened, hackers managed to take about 100 gig of data online, and they posted data. Data wasn't encrypted. They managed to get that data in plain text and posted online. And when we were trying to look into that data, none of the document was classified, whether it's public or whether it's confidential. And what happened there was finding that data, classifying these documents, and then correlating that to business. And the other challenge was that business was not prepared to respond to an incident. We didn't know. They didn't know how to respond. And then finally, post that incidents, managing the incident response plan, having the right team members, identifying the asset owners, data classification, and implementing compliance like ISO 27001. That was a significant state. And that's where we do a lot of learning. And most of the businesses, it's not about tools. A lot of organizations, government is not going to ask you what SIEM solution you have in place, what kind of tools you are using. Government is only looking to have right controls in place to notify the government if the breach happens. To notify the government and to take corrective controls, actions to close these gaps. In real operational challenges and regulatory expectations, to complement this perspective, we now have an industry leader who sees these challenges at scale across enterprises and sectors. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Vipin Lokegaonkar, the General Manager of Cybersecurity
from Data Communications, who will share an industry-wide view on cybersecurity, resilience, and governance. Plenty of us are coming in from different aspects of business. We have regulators, we have people who are from the leadership side, and we have, of course, the core engineering people in this room. Now, I'm working in this industry. I've seen cybersecurity grow over past couple of decades. We all started with having cyber or having a security industry to be full of tools, right? And every now and then we are being approached by some or the other OEM asking us to buy a tool predominantly to secure your infrastructure or to secure your business. But what really matters or what I've been seeing is, are the organizations really getting returns of all the tools they have been investing for so many years? Uh, Now, tools, when I'm talking about tools, I'm talking about plain core security tools, right? Be it be firewalls or be it be, data classification tools and so on and so forth, right? We never got, something return out of it. Although they were successful, but then the overall 10,000 foot view of having your business secure is something which industry has always been lacking. And that's where I've seen government is trying to emphasize, government is now trying to bring in regulations like DPDP, who are getting into the core of privacy. DPDP, of course, emphasizes more about data privacy, about the accountability of data or personal data. And it also emphasizes on how you are going to be securely storing that data. I mean, storage is something which we all have to do because of various business needs. But then, are we really collecting the data which is being required? Couple of years I had opportunity to work with MITI very closely onto this when the initial DPDP draft came into picture. And then, of course, we all know what happened in the last couple of months. The emphasis was when there is an attack. In case, or unfortunately, when you are under attack, it's not about facing that, it's about how you planned it before the attack happens. And that's exactly has been the foundational benchmark when regulators decided to have a DPDP draft in place. The confusion when the attack happens. That confusion is not about the threat actors. The confusion is not about nothing like. The confusion is about who owns what. Who is going to be communicating to regulator, who is going to be communicating to customers, who is going to be actually mitigating the attack, and so on and so forth, right? So frameworks like CSCRF are trying to streamline that, and that's where regulators like saying you have come into picture. There should be clear pace of communication. Unfortunately, within the context of India, we never had that, but then we are moving towards it so that there is a clear cut communication when there is an attack happening. Cyber attacks are going, and of course, it's always gonna be there. And so are the mitigation teams, right? We have been seeing companies investing heavily in security over the last few years, and this trend is supposed to go ahead as while we progress. So, yeah, on this note, I think I would leave this forum empty. Thank you so much. Looking forward to interact with you today. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Bipinji. That was super insightful, and it reinforces a very important message that cybersecurity and privacy today are business and governance challenges, not just technical ones. So it's one thing to discuss that at an industry level, it's another to hear how organizations are addressing it in practice. We are fortunate to have a global customer Access with us today, who will briefly share their experience managing security, privacy, and compliance across regions. Please welcome Access Global Head of Compliance, Ms. Meghna Rawat. I'm responsible for global compliance and security oversight of our organization operating on multiple regions. Basically, I want to give a brief experience of our organization, but not as a product story, but basically like a governance and operational journey with ServQual. Like many organizations, we have policies, control, audit, security tools in places. However, our challenges were fragmented, visibility across region, high reliance on manual evidences, difficulty
connecting security signal to compliance and leadership reportings. We were compliant, but not confident under pressure. Working with ServQual and through SUSAN platform, we focus on bringing more structure and visibility rather than adding more process. It has helped us to overcome and cover outcomes like better mapping of controls to obligations, less about tool and more about the operation clarity and our readiness for future.
Along with experience, we also believe in nurturing young talent that brings fresh thinking, research, and analytical depth into cybersecurity and governance. I would like to briefly bring in a perspective from our security success team, Simone, who works very closely with customers on onboarding and ongoing reviews, and it is also a part of our next generation talent from IIT Bombay. Just one short observation from what you see most often.
Hi everyone, I'm Siman Bansur. Now that I reflect and in my attempt to flag an observation from working closely with customers, I often see that security and compliance information is scattered across teams.
So, as we discussed, like what does it actually look like when you try to structure it operationally? So, rather than explaining that in words, we will now have a very short recorded walkthrough that will demonstrate how organizations are bringing governance, security, and compliance together in practice. And this is a very brief and high-level overview.
Hello and welcome to the India DPDP and SEBI CSCRF fusion session, powered by ServQual and SUSAN. This session is designed for leaders and professionals working across technology, cybersecurity, data protection, risk, compliance, governance, and operational resilience. India is currently undergoing a significant regulatory shift in how organizations are expected to protect personal data, manage cyber risk, and demonstrate accountability. Today's session brings clarity to that shift. Why DPDP and CSCRF must be viewed together. India is introducing two major regulatory expectations at the same time. The Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023 defines how organizations must collect, use, protect, retain, and dispose of personal data, and how they remain accountable to individuals and regulators. At the same time, SEBI Cybersecurity and Cyber Resilience Framework, known as CSCRF, raises expectations around cybersecurity governance, resilience, detection, response, and recovery for regulated entities. While these are distinct regulations, they converge during a cyber incident. DPDP evaluates whether personal data was protected using reasonable safeguards. CSCRF evaluates how effectively the organization detected, contained, reported, and recovered from the incident. Managing these independently creates gaps. Managing them together strengthens accountability and resilience. Common gaps observed during audits and reviews. Across audits, regulatory reviews, and post-incident assessments, several recurring gaps are commonly observed. Organizations often lack a complete and accurate view of their assets, systems, data, users, and third parties. Policies exist but are outdated, inconsistently approved, or disconnected from how controls operate in practice. Risk assessments are performed but not documented in a way that is traceable, repeatable, or defensible during regulatory scrutiny. Security tools such as SIEMs generate large volumes of alerts, yet that data is rarely translated into governance metrics or audit-ready evidence. As a result, teams rely heavily on spreadsheets, screenshots, emails, and manual coordination. These gaps increase both cyber risk and regulatory exposure. Leadership impact of non-compliance. When a cyber incident occurs, regulators do not assess only the technical failure. They ask leadership-level questions. Was personal data adequately protected? Were risks identified and documented in advance? Were controls monitored continuously? Was the response timely, coordinated, and governed? Can the organization demonstrate evidence, not intent? Under DPDP and CSCRF, accountability extends beyond IT teams to senior management and the board. Cybersecurity, privacy, and resilience are no longer purely technical responsibilities. They are leadership responsibilities. This is where SUSAN by ServQual comes in. SUSAN is a unified platform designed to bring together privacy compliance, cybersecurity governance, risk management, and audit readiness into a single, continuous system. Rather than relying on disconnected tools and manual processes, SUSAN enables organizations to Manage DPDP and CSCRF together. Connect leadership risk inputs with technical controls. Maintain continuous, audit-ready evidence. Improve visibility, accountability, and resilience. SUSAN is designed to bridge the gap between leadership, compliance teams, and engineering, enabling continuous GRC, not one-time compliance. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being part of today's discussion.
In Michael side
Okay, yeah. So Microsoft compliance, I'll not talk about Microsoft compliance because it's Microsoft platform. What SUSAN platform does, I'll give you a very high level overview first, and then how it is different to any other compliance platform. Okay. So you have leadership, whether it's technical or non-technical, right? As a CISO, or even if who is technical as a CISO or head of IT engineering, they have challenges. Like there are new technologies coming every single day, right? There are new technologies. So you have Microsoft security itself, you will have cloud security like AWS, you will have Google Cloud. You could use any other platform, right? There are so many platforms out there. You will have Fortinet, Cisco, Juniper, many firewalls, Palo Alto. Then there would be CrowdStrike, endpoint protection, endpoint security. There are several platforms. This platform is for leadership, where they don't have to keep up to date with technology because they just cannot keep up to date. There is so much coming, right, as a head of infrastructure, because you have to do so many certifications. What you would like to rather do is you want to enroll on the platform, define information about what your organization is, where are you located, how many users, which industry you're operating, right? And then fill all that information. If you have any policies, you can update the policies information into the platform. We also have a Genie mode which is AI in the platform itself, where you can put a very vague question that one of the employees lost their laptop with critical data on it. You can put that information, just type whatever you want to type on it. You fill that information as a leader. Now you want to do Google Cloud security and you may not have expertise to do so. If you have wireless security or IoT, any other type of security, you can simply invite internally whoever is responsible for that particular measure, who has expertise. So you don't need to have that expertise, you can just invite them. They will complete their own respective. So we have different modules for different cloud platforms, almost all of these platforms, and they will complete their modules. Next, we have a new module for API integration. So you can connect to Microsoft Defender, or you can connect to Splunk, SIEM solution, any solution you have. And we pull all the critical and high severity alerts from those solutions. And we process that information with whatever leader has put into the platform, and then whatever we receive from engineering, from ground, from the systems. We process that information using GenAI. We use dual GenAI module, dual GenAI engine, which process all of that information, and it builds with the intelligent risk register for this dashboard, which you can manage. And again, all of this information you will get on screen. Like if there is an I button or generate steps, you can generate the steps using AI on the screen. You don't have to go to ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever other platforms that you might use. And there is one blog on our website. I'll just give a very high level brief. All of that data that gets processed on the platform stays in India. So it's private by design, it's compliant. All of that data gets generated in the UK, stays in the UK region. It's never goes outside the territory. So it's designed in such a way that it stays in the country, which is compliant to India Data Protection Act. Now, other platforms wouldn't scale to different. We are multi-vendors. We are not limiting to any specific vendor. Basically, we are open. You can do open API integration with anyone. So it can be anything. And then we give GenAI on the platform itself. Like I mentioned about typing any information, any inputs that you want to give. And non-technical leader can also invite their technical team and say, can you go ahead and complete this platform for me? Can you complete this? And they will have all that risk register in front of them, and they will get alerts, email notification, SMS notification. So leaders don't need to worry about keeping up to date with technology. All they want is inviting. For India DPDP, they can invite their legal team or privacy team and say, can you complete that privacy information for me? And then you can see their dashboard. Now for third-party compliance, also there is a value add here. You can invite your third party, because most of the challenges nowadays is 3P security or supply chain risk, right? You can invite your supply chain and third party also to complete their modules, and you can see their dashboard in real time. So it's a continuous GRC that you're achieving. So it's not one time, also continuous. So there are several modules. Probably will run like a detailed demo after lunch if anybody wants to stay back. we can do, because it's got very comprehensive set of modules, and we can talk about it, like how different it is to any other interest like platform or portal out there. I hope that answer, it's a long answer, but there is so much that I cannot just finish in one one sentence, unfortunately. But thanks for asking that. Any other questions? And controls, how we bring value is our platform also. We don't do services only. And this is what I was trying to explain earlier, that we do have our own platform in which we do compliance, that starts like how how leadership can come and visit this platform. And at the same time, so usually we start with privacy and security discovery workshops. So we don't say like you have to have firewalls or you have to have endpoint security or email security and security awareness training. That's not the first thing. First thing, the most important thing is identifying what assets are there, what gaps are there. So we do discovery workshops, and as part of those discovery workshops, we do interviews. We sit down with leaders like CISOs, chief risk officers. We say, what is your mission and vision? What's your commitment towards security? Based on that, then we go ahead and start asking questions to different teams, and we populate information. There is so much information that comes from spreadsheets and different documents. And finally, we populate asset risk register on the platform itself, because there is one feature, estimated avoidable loss. Leaders, the biggest challenge is that they don't know what is the loss they are looking at until the incident happens, right? Incident hota hai to pata chalta hai kya loss hua hai. We do estimated avoidable loss beforehand, because what we do is we populate the assets, we correlate with the leadership compliance kya requirement hai, and then all that information gets processed by GenAI, and we already show what is the loss you are looking at. As of with this current security posture, this is the loss. If you have a breach or an incident, this is the loss we are looking at. That is another value. I'm pretty sure there is no platform who's doing estimated avoidable loss at this stage. But as part of that discovery workshop, coming back to this discovery workshop, so we go through questions like what are the assets, how many users, which locations. We put all that information in the platform, and then once we have all of that information, then we identify that these are the gaps. So you have probably, your team is not conducting security awareness trainings, or the team is not doing email security, or if there are like OT, IoT security controls are inadequate, and based on that, then we design controls for them. So we do services. So when we engage to customers, it's not just dispersed or segregated data. We bring everything all together and we bring it on the platform itself, which is a value add we are bringing. And usually if you're doing only services, you do one point in time audit or exercise and then you move on. And then what happened to that data, you don't know next time, right? You have to start discovering that data again. Similarly, if you provide platform only, who is going to deploy? Because the platform is deployed, but the importance or the correlation of to what's happening in the infrastructure, the person who actually deploys can understand it better than anyone else. So we go ahead and deploy the services also for them. So we said, okay, these are the gaps that we see on the platform already, and now we'll go ahead and help you to fix those gaps, and we'll bring your risk score down and to make you compliant. That was one of the questions somebody asked about the USP there.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, Sandeep this side. Thank you very much for your this software proposed for this DPDP and the CSCRF, right? My question is about the risk matrix.
Okay.
Is there any provision for the risk matrix calculations?
Yeah, we do have actually. What I would like to do is later maybe we'll run a demo and we can connect offline also. But yes, we do have it. Actually populates the risk registers and we have risk metrics also. And if you're talking about qualitative risk, quantitative risk, there are various risks, and this is a very intelligent dashboard. And I'm certified risk manager, so I know exactly what you're talking about. But yes, this platform has that, and we will show you this one-to-one definitely. Hopefully, we'll run a full demo. We just didn't want to run full demo because some audience might feel disconnected if you run step-by-step, demonstration. But we will do it definitely.
Thank you.
Okay.
And another question is like now in DPDP Act, like so many clauses and the provisions are there, right?
Yes.
Running the applications for the compliance team or the risk and the compliance team, right? One is to we as a look into like any kind of playbook or something templates are available or not. Generally, search in outside, Google or something, ChatGPT or some kind of other sources, right?
Yes.
So here, do you have that kind of the provision where
Absolutely.
hands-on or readiness kind of the clauses or the objectives can be available?
Absolutely. And is your question just related to India DPDP, by the way, for now? This question was, yes. So what we have done to bring value is not giving just DPDP modules. We also have DPDP training, which is available for free on the platform. There are a lot of features out there, which is absolutely free. You do free trial. So there is a training for DPDP, which will train you. There is a video, you watch it, there are questions. And when you complete those questions, you actually get a certificate post completion of that. So that's the value to educate our customers and users on this. So that's the value we're bringing. So definitely there is a training available for free.
And the last question, this software is in cloud-based or that's all play?
It is cloud-based, it is in AWS cloud, and it's private by design. All the data, like as soon as you register, you visit, you actually we can show the landing page. So when you are on landing page, you get an option to select your region, whether you are in India, UK, US, or whatever country you are in. UAE, because we also support UAE PDPL and GDPR. So you click on India region, and then you are redirected to AWS India, which is actually in Mumbai, in Vikhroli. So your data stays in India itself, and it is in cloud, AWS cloud. We maintain security as AWS being a third party. AWS have their own commitments towards security. And there are two dimensions to your question. One is AWS or Azure, and we are a vendor agnostic. We are also Microsoft partners, but those providers are conscious about this area already, and they do have their commitments, they do have their own SLAs, they do have their own sort of license agreements towards how they handle data. They always call it shared responsibility model. But the second part to that, some of our customers, we don't do cloud, we do sort of hosted environment. And if there are opportunities or situations where you might want to have hosted solution, in which we are very open for that conversation to keep that data hosted, not going on the cloud, but we'll keep it very custom, which can be on-prem or it can be a private cloud or whatever. If you want to do Citrix-based virtualization platform or VMware or whatever that you have, KVM. We do have customers for which we do actually, if you have heard about OVH Cloud, one of our customers is using OVH Cloud because they are very concerned about the shared responsibility model and other things. So they have their bare metal servers, and for them we are doing custom setup already. We are open for all these, and these are very normal sort of challenges, and we are open for all these conversations.
Thank you, boss. Thanks.
Thank you. So, my name is Lalit Kumar Raut. So, first of all, you said that you have a cloud-based, subscription-based model, right? Solution. So, how far you are taking care of your IT availability? Say, you have DR.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
You have disaster recovery sites.
Yes, we do.
You have that.
Yes.
On your own cloud, you should have connected some DR site. Second is whether you are ISO 27000 certified.
Yes, we are Cyber Essentials certified. We are already in the process of ISO 27001. We are in the UK, but India we are going through at the moment.
Okay. So these are the main criteria. So that, and you should be also having some SOC 2 or standards you must have.
We do standards.
So that for why I am saying that this is 12 must be certified.
Yes. So
I'm saying you might be, your team must be ISO 27000 certified, but company has to be certified. That is for sure.
Yeah, so we are in the UK and India we are going through at the moment. So what we are doing is we are implementing, and that's what I was coming to, because I'm certified. We are inclined toward that compliance naturally, that we want to get all our regions compliant with that. So we are, and coming back to your DR questions, yes, we do multi-regions. So we are in disaster recovery within AWS Cloud. We use multi-region setup. So all this consent management you can do: cookie consent, website related consent, data process, like if you have HRMS or CRM, any other systems, children data, all of that consent management happens on the platform.
You do data discovery with you too?
We do data discovery and privacy workshop as a standalone exercise, not on the platform. But that data, as we discover, that we feed into the platform. We do hand holding with the customers to feed that data on the platform.
No, I just want your tool, whether can be able to
able to make, suppose we have so many data in cloud, on premises and all. So whether through this tool I can discover?
This platform is agentless.
Okay.
So the only discovery we do, and yes and no, there are two things. So we do have asset inventory module, but then we have API integration. That is the connecting point to the infrastructure. So if there is for example, SIEM solution or any other platform out there, we pull that information and we can pull pretty much everything, whether it's alerts or whether it's discovery related information, everything we can pull through API. But we don't run any agents or anything. Like for example, if you have Microsoft Defender or if there is CrowdStrike solution or any, so there is all the inventory happens on CrowdStrike platform, right? Or Microsoft Defender, you see all the PCs and desktops and servers. We connect to the Microsoft Defender or CrowdStrike and pull that all that information through API from them, so that we can put that information into asset management.
Since we have all these DPDP Act and CSCRF on the cloud, do we facilitate to provide the access to the auditor as and when required so that they can access whenever they wanted to check that thing? A. And the second question is, do we also provide to the booking fraternity the access based on the hierarchy, so that even in that hierarchy, in case of any inspections during off-bit requirement from the exchanges or regulators, they require to provide those things. So if their inspections team visiting their premises, they should be available with those kind of resources or the platform where they can provide those easily to the regulators.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, thanks for asking that. We get asked that question from pretty much all the brokers and about the auditor access and the hierarchy, and answer is yes to both. We do have auditors access, which is simple third-party access where you can invite auditor, and an auditor can also invite a customer, if vice versa. So yes to that. And the second part is to invite each other.
Role-based hierarchy is
Role-based
available.
hierarchy, right? So your consultant can do their, like they can go on the grounds, they can do investigation, audit, and they can populate the data. But you being an administrator, you can see what your consultant has performed and you can view all their dashboards.
Correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
No worries.
So just wanted to know, like, the application is using API, so how are you handling the API management behind the scenes?
Sorry, could you repeat your question?
How are you using the APIs, API management for the platform?
Yeah, so what we do is we connect with SIEM solutions like Intruder or Datadog and Microsoft also. So what we do is we pull data from SIEM solutions and we process with the AI and show all the information on dashboard.
So are you using any like API gateways, like specific count of the key? If you are posted on the AWS, so are you using the AWS gateways?
AWS, sorry?
API gateways.
No, like what we do with integration with Intruder and our Microsoft. So we connect with our tool, SIEM solution, and we pull that logs.
I think Jayesh's question is more from technical point of view, that how do we run API calls. So this is more about generating API tokens and how do we connect to these platforms. Is that your question, Jay?
Yeah, somewhat like the security part in the API gateways, like how to managing the calls.
Backend side, like
Backend side.
how do we connect the API to?
So with the API keys, like Intruder provide their API keys, so we connect with that API.
Okay, so you're using that ASM.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So and we also generate the keys, and what we do is like it's an open platform. You can pretty much do API with any platform out there, whichever supports an API. And those keys, using those keys, we connect securely. But in the backend, if you're asking about API gateway, we do have API gateway in the backend, which is not customer. The customer doesn't see that, doesn't have that visibility, right? We do have API gateway. Yeah. Thank you.
When to communicate, all this part. So can you throw some light on how does the platform address that?
Yes, yeah, I'll talk about it, and it's my favorite area. By the way, I'm glad again you asked that, and I do actually ask this first question to most of the leaders. Do you have incident response plan, right? In which usually in incident in the meeting room you have your CFO, chief risk officer, CISO, and all the leadership. And let's imagine that you have an incident today, and how do you respond, right? Whose job is what? So that needs to come out of this sort of tabletop exercise, and we populate the incident response plan, who will be contacted next, if that person is not available, who is next. But coming to the platform itself, we do have a module for operational resilience, which falls under operational resilience. Also for India, CSCRF, whether it's FCA in the UK or the similar entity in the US. So operational resilience module, it lists all that information, like who is your DPO, who is your CFO, all that information. Do you have this incident response plan in place? If not, you can actually download a template. It does download a template for you. All those policies can be downloaded if you don't have one already. And all that information is captured in the operational resilience module. And then we also have a module for ISO 27001 itself and SOC 2 compliance also. All of that information can be fed. And there is one master module which is called Begin Risk, in which it asks about what's your organization name, location, users, entities, DLP, do you have penetration testing or not? All that information gets asked, and that all that get processed by Gen AI. And some of these overlapping questions that get asked, which falls under operational resilience, which falls under ISO also, and it falls under master module. So it auto-populates some of these questions which are already answered by you, so you don't have to do the same exercise over and over. So there are what you call these modules are the overlapping questions. They are captured as master questions, and they correlate in the backend with applicable. So you can basically maintain your operational resilience and incident response on the platform itself.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I was looking for the response. Say, for example, once an incident has happened, and say for an IT incident, certain has to be informed, or
Yes.
if it is a DB that has to be involved. So does the platform intimate or
Yes.
the particular point of contact within the organization, like a flash on the desk, or do they have to just click on an option and it shows, this is the person, this is the desk? How do they contact certain, if it is a mailbox or a phone number?
Yes.
Does it show the details, and this is the message that you should be passing on?
I'll give you a real example that will answer your question, how it happens as a flow. So for example, you have an endpoint security and one of the machine downloads some malware. And once the malware is downloaded, it will flag, it will generate an alert, right? Now we do API, for example, if it's a Trend Micro. So we do API integration with Trend Micro. When that alert goes into Trend Micro, that alert comes into SUSAN platform. In SUSAN platform, that gets processed by Gen AI against the policies and all the information, leadership in compliance that is filled already, the framework. And the notifications are sent via email or SMS if you want, or both. So you have both the two types of notifications via email and SMS, and both this notification gets sent to whoever that person managing the platform. So you don't have to wait to log in and to see. You can go on your holidays, but still you will receive an alert on your email or SMS. So I think we will run an extended demo, and I know there are some of the questions, and I'm glad those questions came in because they are directly related to the platform, and we are very conscious about these real life challenges about notifications, alerts, centralized dashboard, incident response, operational resilience, and we have designed the platform to make sure this platform is leadership friendly. And all these questions, even if you don't have these questions, this gets addressed naturally as you fill the information on the platform itself. And we can do an extended demo after lunch, or we can open it after lunch. If whoever wants to attend, you do have a QR code where you can register yourself. So feel free to register using the QR code. It's on the keychains and diaries also, if you haven't captured that on the screen already. And you can try it firsthand and reach out to our team. There is Get Help button there. You can reach out to pretty much everyone in the team. There is a Contact Us button on the website. It's also on the platform. We are happy to arrange hand-holding session with you, 30 minutes, to walk you through how this actually adds a value. Because for us, adding value is the most important thing. It's all about adding value and bringing value. So we are happy to have a one-to-one demo in which we can have focused conversations.
Like infrastructure and setup you have, and what is your vision and commitment to carry on this, and future plans for this circle?
Yeah, so there are so many questions actually in there. So I'll summarize and make sure I get your questions right. So what is the size of the team? How can we scale? And what's our mission and vision towards scaling and growth of the team itself? Are these questions, right? Have I missed anything?
No, that's okay.
Yeah, so at the moment, so we ServQual, we are headquartered in the UK, with offices in India and the US. We have got recently a registered entity in Estonia to cover European Union because they have GDPR requirements. So, and also we have got one in South Africa recently. So we have got a new entity. Now coming back to India with the strength part, so we do have team in the UK and US to look after those specific regions. For India, we have got team size of 20 people now. And you did also ask about the qualified, right? And Simone did give a very high level observation about her experience. So she's from IIT Bombay. So that's the hiring bar that we are, maintaining. And all of our team is very qualified, and qualification is one thing, but our commitment towards having a high bar and that commitment to add value to our customer comes from internal trainings also. So we all got trained ourselves for India DPDP Act, for example, before we actually started developing that module and started offering that as a service. Now we are offering that service already, but that was not limited just for consultant. Also our development team is India DPDP trained, so they know what they are developing, for example. And then also our sales team is India DPDP. So when they go and talk to our security success team, they talk to customers, they are actually talking their language and they are telling them understand what their pain points are. So our whole team gets trained for any specific compliance like India DPDP as an example. And in terms of mission and vision, we want to bring value. India is a growing region. We are going to grow. We are already grown. Like in India, we started literally 1 year ago. In the UK, we have been operating for almost 5 years now. But India, we grew from almost 2 or 3 people to 20 people now just within 10 months, right? So if you look at the growth within 1 year, it's very rapid, and I think we are going to scale. Our platform is scalable. It's auto scaling. We can scale any largest customer or any smallest customer. At the same time, our team can scale. And our mission and vision is to bring value to customers in security and privacy and make sure that they are aware whether they are technical and not technical, and to support that sort of initiative, whatever growth that needs to take. But we are looking to grow, be a responsible organization here in India, and we do have plans for the growth. And I think very soon we'll be in a sort of our mid-size organization, but we are looking to grow, and we will grow for sure. Thank you. If there are any partners who wants to have partner related conversations, we do have reception, a team that can help you with the partner registration parts also. But thank you so much everyone attending, taking your time. I know Saturday usually we want to sit back and relax, and you came here in numbers, so really happy to see, and I hope we brought some value to you, and please go ahead and enjoy the lunch.